Hey there everybody, it's Atherbeer Stan back here with a brand new game. This is Timberborn. This is the Lakes map with the Folktail tribe on hard mode because that's how we do. I'm using this to replace Frostpunk in my gaming arsenal because Frostpunk is a great game, but it only has so much replayability. And I've gone through it a couple of times now. 10 that way should do us. So what I want to do here is like a quick start guide. I have enough knowledge of the game to be pretty competent and confident at the beginning, but I have not gotten really into the mid or late game yet. But I want to jump on the bandwagon and start getting some content out for this game as quickly as possible before it becomes stale, because that's the trials and tribulations of being a YouTuber. Is like, nobody's watching a Civilization 2 video at this point, right? So the first thing that I want to do is max out my builders. This is the only workplace that we have on the map, so it makes sense to fully staff it. I also want to go up to a 20-hour workday, and then lastly, I want to downgrade the priority of this so that people will prioritize working over building. Now that we have 4 builders employed, you can see that the lumberjack flag costs 1 builder, so we can build 4 of them simultaneously, which we will do. And in fact, we have 9 unemployed beavers, so in the interest of getting them employed as quickly as possible, we'll build 8 of those guys. And then we'll just let it go. Go get some stuff built. While that's happening, we need to designate some cutting areas. So we're going to choppa all the trees. We're going to choppa all of these trees. Eventually, we have to build a bridge to get out there, but once we get that done, and then we want to choppa all of these trees as well. That's basically what we have access to. We can get to this stuff as well, but it's kind of far, and if we don't have to, I'd rather not. So what we actually want to build first is a water pump. But you can see the water pump costs 12 logs, and we have nothing. We have nothing logs. That's the technical term. So if we try to build that right now, our builder is just going to sit idle and do nothing. So instead, we're having him build over here. And then once all those guys finish, they're going to work now. Now we have 4 logs stored, which is enough to get us started, because they will continue to harvest while our last remaining builder works on that stuff. If we had more builders, you can see like he's going to each place and he's getting some wood. If we had more builders, they would empty these out, and then they would start running across the map to these to try to get the rest of the wood. So by having only a single builder work on this, we actually build it faster than we would if we had 4 workers, which is an interesting little piece of trivia that is very worthy of noticing. Managing your builders is a little bit of a puzzle. You can see now we have 0 builders. Everyone is employed. Because of the prioritization of this being low, he immediately finished this and then just became a water pumper, which is what we want. That's all we're going to build for day 1. Just get that water pump up and call it good. What we want to see here is them getting all of these trees cut down before the end of the shift, which is exactly what happened right exactly at the end of the shift. We finished out here, which is just a bit of serendipity, really. I didn't specifically plan for that to happen, but the timings work out, and so no complaints here. So we're going to pause those guys. They're going to become our 4 workers, our 4 builders for the morning, and we need to build some things. So we're going to start with research, because basically any game ever that I've ever played that has research, more is better and faster is better. So we're going to get the research going as quickly as we can. We're going to get a farm also going quickly. We're going to put up a gathering flag there, and then we need some pathways to get all of that connected. This one we're going to pause because that's actually too much for one day. We should have about 40 or 50 wood out here. We got 48 wood out there, so that's enough to easily get all of this stuff built. We want to try to concentrate our efforts like where our wood is. Like, so we filled up out here and we built right next to it, and then we're going to build another project here right next to it here on day 2, and that's going to use up basically the wood that we've harvested from that area. Now then, a little bit about priorities. We're going to prioritize this. That's going to be our highest priority because that only takes a single builder. That's going to peel off one builder only, and he's going to go and work on that. The other 3 builders are going to work on this. We're going to make that slightly higher priority, and then lastly they will go and work on this thing. We'll have to do a little bit of jiggering throughout the day. So he's done with that. He's going to go and immediately start harvesting berries. That'll get us some food, because we've got to do something to feed our beavers up until the point where we actually have a sustainable source of food coming in. Berries kind of suck as a food source, but it's all we've got. So we'll have to harvest berries for at least a day or two. Now this guy just finished gathering the berries here, so we're going to mark that for a deletion, and we're going to set that on highest priority, and then we're going to pause this because we don't actually really like super need to harvest berries. I really just wanted to get that fixed. So we're going to have one guy go and tear down this bush. 2 guys are going to finish building this thing. We're going to change this to 2 workers only. Now, as you can see, our one worker, I don't know if you noticed, but one of our builders just went into the town hall. He's standing by. He's just kicking it in the doorway there. He's got nothing to do. And so we're going to have him go and start working on our bridge, which we're going to build out of small warehouses because it's the cheapest thing that we can build that meets all of our criteria. We have to be able to walk across it, and we don't want it to block water. And the warehouses fulfill both of those roles for only 3 wood apiece. And you can see out here we've got 7, 13, 19, 24 wood available, and these cost 3 apiece, so that's 15. We'll have 9 wood left over. So we should have a dude go and run and work on that. In fact, we're going to have 2, which is a waste. So I think what we'll do is we'll put one of them back to work here. Now, we don't have any crops marked out, so let's quick and get some crops in the ground. I accidentally did too much there. I'm going to leave the corner empty here for another building. And we're going to plant some sunflowers as well, which there is a lot of debate about whether that's a good idea or not, but I'm going to do it. The reason being that if you look at a beaver here, you can see nutrition, carrots, sunflower seeds. What we don't see on this list is berries. So these are all the nutritions that will give us mood bonuses. So carrots and sunflower seeds are the only one on this list that don't require some other infrastructure or labor input. We can get those just with the farm without any extra anything. So that's a morale boost that we can get basically for free. So we'll have them plant. They should have 2 workers there planting, and we should have 1 worker who's going to work on this bridge. And I'm going to up the workday to 22 hours here just to make sure that Mr. Bridgeman gets done there. We also need to check on these. 20, 15. So we've got an extra guy here that's not doing anything. I'm going to have him, we're going to pause that building. We're going to go and we're going to build one more gathering flag here. And we're going to mark that as the highest priority so that he will do that instead of going and building on the road, which he's going to go out there and do anyway. Ridiculous. Now what are they doing? Now they're switching places again? Oh, I hate it. If it comes down to that being the reason that he doesn't finish this tonight, I'm going to be a little upset. There's no reason, and that just, to me, seems like bad coding. Like, why isn't the closest guy doing the job? Why are they switching places? Not once, but twice. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, the bridge is done, and our farm is done. So now we can turn this back down to 20. People can just go rest now. This is probably full as well. No, close enough. So we've got what? 20, basically 40, and 16. So that's actually 55 wood. So in the morning, we're going to, first of all, we're going to turn these guys back on. We're going to turn the farm off because there's nothing for them to do. We're going to pause the berries because that's not a very high priority. We've got 3 builders in the morning. I would like to have 4, I think. Actually, what do we need to build in the morning? That's a good question. We had 55 wood here. We could build 4 houses. We could build 3 houses and some further research. I think we'll do that. We'll build this. We'll mark that as a high priority. And then we're going to go over here and start talking about housing. We'll pause those two. So that'll be 36, 48 of our 55 wood spent, which seems pretty good to me. Something like that. With 3 workers, they'll all work on this, which is the farthest job site. I did set that high, yeah. And then one of them will become a researcher, and the other 2 can work on housing that is close. Meanwhile, we need to, our main goal, our overarching goal is to get a dam up somewhere on this river. And when you say that somewhere, it's like, okay, well, where? The most logical thing to me is to try to contain as much water as possible. That's the problem that I see with strategies like guy bridges here or dams here, and then you've got this water, and that gets you through the first drought, but it doesn't get you through the second drought. So by putting a dam over here immediately, I think we can secure almost twice as much water. So it just makes sense, basically, is what I'm saying. Wait, are you not paused? Pause you. Oh, no, not the inventor. Don't want to pause the inventor. Okay, it is paused. Don't want to pause the inventor. We want to keep him as busy as possible. What we want to do here is we need 35 wood. So we're just going to let them work until they have that. There's our last house. Now, we want to put those guys to work somewhere. We've got 2 builders. So let's go out here and start preparing for our dam construction. We'll build 2 of those. Those guys will immediately go to work after they build them, right? Because that's the way we've set up our priorities. Where are they? We've got our house built. Where are they? We've got 2 builders. Oh. I always forget this. You have to put paths across the buildings, yeah. Or else they can't get out there to go and build. So there's our 2 builders going to work out there. 11 and 13, 24. He unfortunately got thirsty in the middle of his building project. But now we've got that going out there. And it says we still, oh yeah, he's not done yet. Alright, so everybody is employed. Let's check here. 5, 20. Okay, we're good. We just want to make sure they're not flooding out. 17 and 15 is 32. 17 and 17 is 34. And he's bringing 1 more load of lumber before he's off for the night. So we have enough wood here to do what we need to do. We have 36. So we're going to pause those. Those guys can become builders. How are we doing over here? 7. I think we're going to pause all of these for the time being, which kind of puts a crimp in our plans in terms of colony development, but it's necessary. So how are we doing out here? We've got 13 and 6, okay. We're going to build 3 more of those. We're going to set those to high priority. As you can see, we have 4 builders and 2 unemployed. So we actually have 6 people that we need to do something with. That's more than I thought. So, yeah, high priority there. And then we're going to have the other builder working here. And it's right across the street. So 1 builder is plenty. 2 would be ideal, but 1 will be enough. He'll be full relatively quickly on this next day here, and we'll have him probably start building the dam. Because yeah, here's our notification that the drought is incoming. You can see his round trip is basically just turning around. Now, okay, somebody grew up. Oh, maybe that was yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. That notice was this, new well-being high score. Because we have good food and we have at least partial housing. Now, it says we have 2 beavers available. Let's pause this, which is going to actually give us 3. that there. We'll put in some paths to connect it. And we'll put in a small storage for planks. And we'll set it to supply, so it's a lower priority than other storages. At least I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Now, how are we doing here? 15 only, okay. We've got 3 builders. Where are you going? Going to get wood? Are we out here? I was pretty sure I counted that correctly. Did it get taken for something else? It's only 1. So that's good at least. Okay, we can unpause this now. And that leaves us with a single builder. Now then, let's go and use that single builder to work on this dam. We're going to put it can't even tell. Right there looks good. Centrally located. Now we can see, because there's a beaver standing here, if we zoom in a little bit. Dude's just standing there. He's like, guys, I don't have anything to do out here. So we're going to pause him. He will become a builder, and he can go and help out on this, which will make it significantly faster. You can see him. He's just doing the back and forth thing. Duka, 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 duka. Unfortunately, when they get to the last little bit, then they leave, and then they have to come back. And so we see only a single builder. The other thing that having 2 builders does for us is if one of them has to go eat or drink or something, then we still have somebody working there. Now, we should check on these. Nothing in stock, nothing in stock. 7, 9. So we want to let them work a little bit longer. But eventually we want to turn them off. Because we don't want to stockpile a bunch of extra wood out here that we don't need. We'll wait until the end of the workday, and then we'll figure out where we stand. Okay, people are done. So that's done. It's got 20 of 20, so we need 40 more. We've got nothing, 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 and 18. So the bottom line is that we don't need 4 of these things working. We can probably pause a second one. And then maybe, oh no, we should work over here. Start getting a little more wood stockpiled for our colony. What do we have? We have 20, 29, and 10. So we have 40 wood there. That's actually pretty good. So that's enough that we can unpause these guys. We've got a single worker, a single builder, I should say. Why is this not working? A single builder. I actually should put somebody here. Yeah, because this requires planks, requires logs, I mean. And right now, it's probably running all the way over here to get them. Or, I mean, either way, one of these, either of those is bad, basically, is what I'm saying. So let's put these guys to work here for the rest of the day. Because, oh no, we're already past. Right, I knew that. 18, 20, 22. We need 18 more wood there. I'm going to pause this one because we need a builder of some sort. He can go work on this housing very slowly in the morning. And hopefully we get a tree harvested before this guy runs out of logs, which it looks like we will. Very good. So now he can just go and get the log that's next door instead of running all over the map to try to get materials. Which, yeah, perfect. Okay, we should check in over here now. We've got, again, 22 and 12 is 34. Oh, no, I counted the 4 twice. It's 12, what? 18 and 12, so we've got 30 there, okay. We need 10 more, which is quick. It's 5 trips back and forth. 18, 26, 12, 10, 24. That's enough, right? Yeah. So we can pause these. We will unpause this guy because we don't need 3 builders working out there. And I think we'll unpause that as well so we can get a little bit of food. We're down to just 3 berries, which is not very good. However, we will be harvesting carrots tomorrow. So if we just get a little bit of berries in here at the end of the day, that'll be enough to carry us through. Yeah, and that leaves us 2 workers over here, which is probably as many as we really want. 1 is enough, but like I said, now this guy has to go drink, and so that means we still have at least 1 worker carrying on, which is great. Oh, I didn't realize we still had wood down here. I wasn't even counting that towards our... So we actually have a lot more wood than we needed. There's our dam done. Arguably a little early. But, I mean, we already have everything else we need. We've got housing up, we've got double research, we've got crops planted, we've got our plank production going. In fact, that's what we need to work on next, is the forester. We're going to put that here because, as you can see, it gets all the way. It's the only location that I can find that gets the entire, not that we necessarily need to do that, but I want to have like the full option, right? So we have 2 builders and a few hours worth of work day left yet. The question is, how many logs do we have? Not very many. So they're going to end up doing a lot of running to get the 10 logs that it's going to take to build this. But it is what it is at this point. We just have to make do. We got plenty of logs out here. I would rather just get it built than like wait around for logs to pile up, right? Almost done. We just have to hammer on that a little bit in the morning. So, with that in mind, we need to plant some trees. I'm going to go with pine trees because even though they're not as efficient as, like, say, an oak tree, for example, the goal here is to have a sustainable wood economy before we exhaust what's readily available on the map. We're out of the birch trees. We are basically out of the pine trees, although they will continue to grow. You can see that guy's 80% grown, so we're going to get a little bit more production going there, and we're actually pretty close to being out of the oak trees over here, and this is not convenient wood. So we want to get something that will grow in time to fill the gap, which birch trees are too inefficient. We're going to go with pine trees, and I happen to know from experience that we have just enough time for these pine trees to grow. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to plant everything that isn't already planted with, like, we don't want to override these birch trees because they will continue to grow and provide us with relatively inexpensive, if somewhat inefficient, lumber. Meaning that we don't have to have people maintaining these tiles. We don't have to have the lumberjack or the forester come out here and plant for us. So we're just going to fill in the already unfilled tiles. Something like that looks pretty good. I think that's about as far as our lumberjack reaches. But we can get 2 more trees in. I'll take it. Yeah. See, it will allow us to destroy these stumps. It will not allow us to place on an already growing tree. But the stumps will eventually become trees, so destroying them doesn't actually make any sense. There we go. That's what we're going to plant. Eventually we'll cover up the birch too, but these are going to take 12 days to grow, so there's no point in covering up something that's already growing with something that takes 12 days to grow. Especially when this is enough wood. Like, probably we don't even need to cover those birch. This is probably enough wood to be sustainable with 2 lumberjacks. Okay, we've got 1 worker. What does he do? 1 builder, I mean. There's nothing super pressing that needs to be built right at this very moment. So let's have him go to work harvesting. No, not harvesting berries. We're 90%. Yeah, okay, we'll have him harvest berries until the farm starts coming in, which should be momentarily here. Sometime today we should start seeing carrots grow. It was towards the end of day 2 that we planted them, so I expect towards the end of day 2 we will see carrots begin to come in, and I would like to get those harvested as quickly as possible. What do we got here? 96, 97, yeah. Alright, we're at 99%, which is enough. We're going to pause both of these guys, which gives us just a tiny bit of food. We'll unpause that. We should see carrots, yeah, immediately. There we go. So we got people on carrot farming as quickly as we really could, right? How are we doing here? 3, 7. That's basically, this wood is just to supply our plank production. Now we have enough planks for our next project, which needs to be, oh, actually, you know what we need? We need 2 things here. So we're going to first make a medium warehouse for our carrots. And then we're going to make a hauling post, which we don't exactly need right now, but we will be needing it very soon. And so in order to build that stuff, I think that we're going to fire these guys. How much is this? 20? Yeah, we're still flush on wood out there. That's the only thing I'm really worried about as far as that goes, is we just want to be like ahead of the game a little bit in terms of the wood. It's not important that we have people working here all the time. It's mostly just important that we have enough wood to maintain building, to maintain expansion. Okay, that's ready, so we're going to change this to carrots. How are we doing over here? Still not a lot of wood. So I think this guy doesn't have anything left that he can reach. We're going to pause him and stick him out here instead. And in fact, this guy is in the same boat, so we're going to pause him and put him out here instead. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm just at the tail end of a cold. I'm heading out of town tomorrow for several weeks, so if I don't make a video today, I just don't get to make a video at all. And that sounds kind of terrible, so here I am. Now, we need to think about further housing, because we've got one vacant bed and one kid that can still grow up, which will probably happen tomorrow. However, we also need to think about projects out on the map. We need to start trying to contain more water. So we need to balance between those two things. How are we doing here? We need 13 more. We still haven't even tapped into the 20. So we can afford at least one more house, which I'm going to... First, we're going to unlock stairs. We have just enough research to get that done. So we're going to put in a set of stairs here. Yes, 70 science. We're going to put in one house unit right there on top. And we're going to path it up. Oops. Like so. And that'll be 2 builders can get that done at their leisure, basically. I'm going to set this to a lower priority because it's not actually as important. Mainly because we don't actually need haulers right this second. There's the drought started. We finished our dam so long ago that I almost forgot that we had done it. There's our steps done. Basically, we don't want to be without an empty bed. I'm going to set this back to normal so I can think about maybe queuing up something else. How are we doing there? We need 2 more planks. So we actually have 5 planks in storage. That's probably fine. We're going to need a fair few of them. So let's do... clear that out next after they finish this thing. We're going to actually pause this when they finish it because we don't, like I said, we don't actually need haulers right now. But I want to have the ability unlocked. And he should go down and start clearing out bushes. Once this is done, we're going to pause it so they will continue to clear out bushes. You can see we got 28 carrots and 3 sunflowers. They're going to eat the sunflowers sooner than they'll prefer the sunflowers over the other food, is what it seems like to me anyway. And with only 13 berries, that means we barely did any over harvesting of the berries. Now that's done. We've got 2 builders available. So we want to path out here. This is our next construction site. And then we're going to need some stairs, same as before. Like so. And then we're going to need 2 small piles. One is going to be logs, and the other is going to be planks. And we're going to set them to obtain. And that won't do anything until we have haulers. What obtain means is, hey, go and get this stuff and bring it here, because we need to stockpile it for something. And what this is going to do is it's going to move our building materials. This is the first time that we've had to build something where we haven't already had our building materials like relatively close at hand. So now we need to start logistics up and like, what's the word? Pre-positioning. What is the word? Staging. That's the word. We need to stage our building materials so that when we're ready to start on this project out here, we've got enough close by. We also need to unlock 2 research projects. We need either levees and floodgates or double floodgates. It's more expensive to do the 2, but it is also more expensive like this. Here's the thing, okay. We're going to build across here. It's 5 wide. If we build levees and floodgates on top of them, it requires 270 research, but only half as many planks. You can see 5 per floodgate. Or if we build the double floodgates, it's going to be 10 per floodgate. So it's going to take 50 or 25. And that right there is the deciding factor in going for the levees. So we need 120 to unlock levees. And we have 80 basically. So maybe we get that done tomorrow on day 8. And we can start building the levees. You can see we had 2 kits born last night. And we should have 1 growing up like any minute now. Why did it only have... If we click on this, I think it'll show their age. Yeah, so Benjo here is 38% grown up. I would have expected him to be... He must have been recently born. Alright, I'm going to pause here and make sure that we're not missing anything. We have 2 builders. They are done with this, so we are now going to assign 2. We're going to make this low priority, and we're going to make this lowest priority. And that way, when we have unemployed people, they will fall into being haulers, and then any additional beyond the 2 will be builders. And I'm going to leave that until this is full. We're going to have 2 haulers going to work on that. So they're going all the way out here to get logs. That's a little bit of a bummer. That means these guys are out. No. Must be because these are paused. They're seeing this as like a non-viable stockpile, which I actually like. That's kind of good. We're full here. Yep, 20 logs. Now we just need to fill up on our planks, which should be happening. Why are they not? Why are they not? Do I need to set this to accept? Will that change things? Oh, because this is paused. Derp. There they go. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Now, we've got someone standing around out here because he can't reach any trees. So we'll pause that. That guy's going to become a builder because we've already got 2 haulers. We might as well pause this as well. Yep, that all looks good. How are we doing over here? Not full. However, no trees in range, so we'll pause him as well. And I believe, if I've done my math correctly, that'll give us 3 builders who have nothing to do at the moment. However, we're 15 research away. We've almost got our levees unlocked, so we just need something for these guys to build on just real quick. I think what we will do is... Oh, no, that's not going to work. That takes planks. I was going to build the gear workshop, but that takes planks, and I don't want to create a conflict because we need our planks over here. So we need something for these guys to build. Okay, yeah. Let's go out here. Like so. Because I think we're going to run out of wood. I want to have a backup. So we're going to rotate, we'll go 1, 2, 3 out there. I would do 4 here, but we only have 3 builders, so there's not much point. And then we're going to drop the priority of this all the way down, and then we can copy and paste that into the other 2. That way, when they finish building here, they will not start working there. I'm going to up the priority of that. So that when we get our research, which we almost have, I guess it didn't matter, they're going to finish all of that before anything else happens anyway. We need 9 more research. So our 3 builders basically do nothing for the last hour of the day. I guess they're going to harvest berries. And we'll build 1 more. Just to give him something to do. Alright, it's the end of the workday, so we'll just go ahead and pause these again. Just wanted to give them, they got like 1 trip in, which is fine. These, we'll go and pause all of these. And we'll set them back to a normal work priority, so I don't forget to do that. And then what? We still are 5 research short. It's all terrible. Start over, do over. Do over. You can see we can store up to 50 sunflower seeds in here. So if we ever max out on sunflower seeds, I'm just going to let that, like, we don't need to worry about it. Now, something else that we need to think about is our forester. Like, he's about halfway done planting these pine trees. And we can either pause the forester and have him run off and do other things, or we can have him plant something else. And I'm inclined to have him plant something else. I think what we're going to do, we're going to go with oak trees, and we're just going to fill in around the berry bushes here. We'll leave the berries. We're the Folktail. We're supposed to be friendly with nature or some such nonsense. So we'll fill that all in with oak trees. And then we're going to go and tell him to prioritize the pine. So he will plant the pine, and then he will come over here and work on the oak trees when he has a minute. Although we have enough pine planted, yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to tell him to prioritize the oak, just so we can get a little bit of that planted, and then we'll move him back onto the pine later. And he started here, so you can see we're 24% done. So it's going to be another 8 days before we can start harvesting these. I'd say we're doing pretty well, but I don't really have a baseline to compare that to. The problem I find with a lot of YouTube videos, and I'm not knocking it, because the nature of the game is such that you kind of have to, but they're very edited, and so you don't get a very good idea of what the actual flow of the gameplay is, because they're bouncing around from day 1 to day 3 to day 7 to day 42, and it's kind of confusing. Are we still running out here for logs, really? Still got 3. Oh, okay, I'm spacing out here. Got to get our builders to work, and we've got the resources, we've got the science that we need to do it. So let's go here and unlock levees, and we're going to place, yes, 120 science. We need 150 more, so we're probably going to end up waiting for the floodgates as well. I don't want to close this completely off. Actually, it's probably fine if I do. Let's just go ahead and do it. It's going to cause a little bit of flooding potentially for us, but it shouldn't matter too much. And we should now have some beavers that are going to keep that stockpile full, our 2 haulers. So we've got 2 haulers and 3 builders, and that's probably a pretty good division of labor. Now what we want to do is keep an eye on our farm. You can see they're farming through to the end of what has grown. And so what we want to see is, like, right when they get to the end of harvesting everything, we want to see the next batch. Like, what is this, 79? So we might have a little bit of a break. And if we do, then we want to make sure we pause the farm and send those guys to do other things. Now, I'm pretty sure that these grow at night. You can see it's dark, and we just went from 81 to 82%. So tomorrow, I expect we should, yeah, I think we're right on track. We've got 2 of these levees built. We still need 120 more research, which is not going to happen. So maybe we want to think about more research. How much wood do we have here? 0. We can't really afford to build more research just yet. Yeah, we have 0 log income, which is a problem. We probably want to put some people to work out here. But I think we're going to build this first. Oh, can we? Can we? No, we have actually 0 logs, period. Wow, okay. Did not even realize. So we're going to put 4. And that's going to take all of our haulers and all of our builders, which is perfect because we don't have anything for our haulers or our builders to be doing in the morning. And we'll let them work like a good portion of the day. Still watching our farm here. %. Where's our other? Oh, he's there. Okay. And this guy's making good progress on our oak trees too. think that I'm going to tell him, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pause this because this is consuming logs currently. And we have 36 of those planks in storage, so that's enough for now. And that'll stop draining out all of our logs. And so when these guys finish up here, we're only at 95%, I think, 95%. So I'm going to pause this. Those guys are going to become haulers, just temporarily, and hopefully fill this back up with whatever logs we have. How do we have any? We have 2 builders. Okay. Did people grow up? No. How do we have 2 builders? Now you can see carrots grew in. So I'm going to unpause this again. I don't want any lag time in our harvesting. I think I'm going to put this guy back on pine trees now. And it sucks that we're hauling wood from way over here, but we do have haulers, so it's not the end of the world. What we don't have right now are builders. We have a single builder. 2 haulers. That works out. There's not like a crazy rush to get this done. The sooner the better, but it just needs to be done before the next drought. So we've got really plenty of time. So now we're just going to kind of chill. We're going to take it easy. We're not going to try to do huge building projects because our wood income is kind of crap. In fact, all of this is chopped down out here, so we can just pause all of these things, which is going to give us some unemployed workers. But you know what? Hey guys, take a break. Take a little break. What we could do is grab this wood pile here, this small wood pile, and we can duplicate it, and maybe we'll put it right here. Although that's a bad place, because I was going to put a water tank there. It'll be fine. We'll put it right there. That should be on wood. I'm going to put it on accept. And then that way they can haul this stuff in. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but it says carrying capacity is plus 100% when they are haulers. So I'm going to up that to a 3rd hauler because we have the 3rd hauler, as well as 4 builders, because everything is basically paused at this point. We're not really working anywhere. We're just hauling and building because there's no wood to harvest and there's no workplaces to work. So in an effort to keep everyone as busy as possible, we'll just do this. Research is up to 80. We need 70 more, so probably like another day and a half. But we're going to get to the end of the video before that happens. We've got 0.8 days left until the end of the drought, at which point I'm just going to cut the video. It's already about an hour long, which is where I usually try to be with my videos anyway, so it all works out. Let's take a bird's eye view and see what we got. This is day 11. Let us pause for just a second. Actually, no, I'm going to let it run. I don't have anything really to do at this point. It is day 11, and we're well on our way to sustainable forestry. We've got our farms. We're already into our 2nd harvest on our farms. We're cycling food nicely. We've got 1 vacant bed, which is enough for now because we've got 4 children and nothing really for our adults to do right now. That will very quickly change. We could unpause this, get back to plank production. In fact, now that we have enough planks. Oh, he's got planted. I should have canceled him out before. We can cancel that stuff. We can clear these out with our workers, because we're done out here. We've got the levees built. We'd just be waiting for floodgates now. So we'll get those trees knocked out of the way. So we've got plenty of planks now. No shortage of the planks at this point. If we get all those trees knocked down, we can just here at the end of the video queue up our oh no, that cost research. We do not want to do that. Right. We need the floodgates. Although realistically we don't actually need those floodgates. The only reason to do that would be so that we could green up this area, because right now these trees aren't growing, and that's a little bit of a problem, but it's not a huge problem. So I think we will go ahead and do the gear production. And that way we're doing something with the rest of our video. We'll put that right next door. The buildings transmit power. So this wheel can power either of these buildings, but it can't power both. This one takes 50, and this one takes 50 as well. It doesn't say it yet, but it does. And this only produces 50, so we can work one or the other and the wheel, but we can't work both. Which is fine, because we don't have the labor to really spare for that anyway. So that being said, I think that's the end of our video. Eventually I will do a Let's Play, although it probably won't be this map, so don't expect to see any more gameplay on this particular map. But do definitely expect to see more Timberborn content on this channel if you're interested in it, particularly if you're interested in the way that I approach the game and the way that I approach videos in general, then definitely you'll be wanting to tune in. I will not be doing an edited or streamlined version of the game. There we go. Let's pause there. That's the end of the drought. I'd say we have a pretty good colony at this point in the game. You all have a wonderful day, and make sure you leave me a like, and I will be back with more Timberborn content after I return from my trip. Take care.